March, the Bruins go out like a lion, 15-0-1 in their last 16 games, and the winners of the Atlantic Division. Patrice Bergeron's Selke Trophy talks have resumed. Zdeno Chara could be in the running for the Norris Trophy, and how about that guy, Jerome McGinley? All that and so much more coming up right here. You're watching Bruins Daily TV from Studio 73 at Suffolk University. That's Tim Rosenthal, and I'm Erica Lee. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot of stuff to talk about with the Bruins here, but it seems like mostly good things with the black and gold. Last week, we had a chance to get away from all of the stats and the Stanley Cup talk when we visited Sean Thornton's 7th annual Cuts for a Cause, which was a great day. The players and fans raised over $118,000. Take a look at what some of the guys had to say.
We got a haircut and raised some money, and it was a good cause. And there's a lot of people here, actually, more than I've seen before.
It was just fun to be able to do this again, and like I said on the stage, I grew it out kind of for this, and feels good to give back and to be able to support the kids and things like that.
I'm one of the original guys that's been a part of this ever since I was a rookie, and to see it grow to what it's become today is really great, and I thank all the fans and supporters for making it what it is today.
That was Johnny Boychuk, Dougie Hamilton, and Milan Lucic you saw right there just a week ago at Cuts for a Cause.
It was quite the event, and I think the biggest winner of this all, not only Dougie Hamilton for having his head shaved, having that curly Goldilocks blonde hair of his shaved, but I think also the charities that they supported in the event, the kids who had so much fun shaving the Bruins hair, I think they're the big winners in this.
Absolutely. So don't forget to check out last week's recap of the event and be on the lookout for our extended footage from Sean Thornton's 7th annual Cuts for a Cause as well. Now, the Bees, as we mentioned, are the Atlantic Division champs this season. They haven't lost a game in regulation since March 1st, and now with a league-leading 110 points, they're looking to take the East too.
Yeah, and they're probably going to be looking at taking the President's Trophy as well. They're within striking distance of wrapping up the East right now, as Pittsburgh's kind of falling apart a little bit thanks to all the injuries they've had. I mean, look at what happened a month ago. We were talking about the Bruins chasing Pittsburgh, so to speak, but we didn't think they would overtake them. Now, a completely different story. 9-point lead in the Eastern Conference as of Wednesday, and you're looking probably, if not this week, and certainly by next week, they'll have that division wrapped up. And who knows, will they go for the President's Trophy? I don't know. They still have to rest guys along the way, but they'll at least have home ice throughout the Eastern Conference. I think that's a given at this point.
We'll have to wait and see on the President's Trophy, but let's talk a little bit about the guy who has really made an impact here. Feels like just yesterday we were talking about how he couldn't score. He fit in really well here, but he just was not getting the puck in the goal. Jerome McGinley, all of a sudden, he scored a goal, and he's been on fire ever since, not looking back. Some numbers here. He's tallied 13 goals in March alone, including 4 two-goal games and 5 game-winning goals, as well as 4 assists, which earned him 17 points in 17 games. He has 6 multi-point games in the month of March, which gave him a +12 rating, and had a month-best 6-game point streak from March 9th to March 18th, where he tallied 8 points. Not only did McGinley play in his 1,300th NHL game in the month of March, he also passed Johnny Bucyk, which we mentioned once before, on the NHL's all-time goals list with 2 scores against Colorado on the 21st. He leads the team in goals and is second in points with 61, third in assists with 31, and has a +34 rating. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, as you said, just it seemed like yesterday we were talking about McGinley's struggles through the first month of the season. Now, another 30-goal season, his 12th of his career, and I wouldn't call this a career bounce back per se, because he's had several 30-goal seasons in Calgary, but I do think it's a step up from where he was last year after being traded to the Penguins. I think he felt a lot of pressure in helping the Penguins try to get to the Stanley Cup, which ultimately didn't happen, ironically enough, when Tuukka Rask made the glove save on him in Game 4 to finish the sweep for the Bruins. Now you look at him, He's a mainstay on that first line with David Krejci and Milan Lucic. He's a perfect fit for that line. He's a step up from Nathan Horton, and I think he's really enjoying playing the game again. And I'm not just saying that just from the on-ice perspective. If you look at him off the ice, we saw him briefly at Cuthbert Cause. He was all smiles there. He's all smiles in the locker room whenever we interview him after the game, and that's not an easy thing to do, being interviewed by the media from a player's perspective, I imagine.
Especially not here in Boston. But
No.
of course, this is what he came here to do. He came here to win the Stanley Cup.
Absolutely. I think this might be indeed his best chance of winning a cup. I think for certain he's with the best playmaker he's ever had in his career in David Krejci. And of course, fellow power forward and Milan Lucic. Those two like to crash the net a lot. It opens up some space for Krejci to do his thing. And you're seeing all three reap the benefits.
And Iginla isn't the only one making an impact here. Zdeno Chara and Patrice Bergeron have also been leading this Bruins team and are potentially in contention for the NHL's top honors once again this season. Z's found himself against some of the league's top skaters, both in even strength and shorthanded situations this season, posting a plus 25 rating heading into the week, which ranks 7th among NHL blue liners. And of course, this captain has also tallied 9 scores with the man advantage, which ranks 2nd in the NHL, and his 16 goals this season rank him 4th among all defensemen.
I think it's his second most career goals behind 2008-2009 when he had 19. That was the year he also won the Norris, his first Norris Trophy, and he's on pace to do it again this year. We talked about Duncan Keith, I think, from Chicago in the show earlier. Not earlier, probably about a few months ago, on how he was the favorite to win the Norris Trophy. I think this past month, Z might have surpassed him in the Norris ballot. I have a vote in the PHWA ballots, and I'm thinking of putting him over Duncan Keith right now.
It's certainly a possibility.
Yep. And also, if you check out Scott McLaughlin's article on WEI breaking down the Norris race, he does it by coursing numbers, which of course is advanced statistics.
Yep.
I don't think you and I, maybe if we read into it a little more, maybe we'd get it eventually. It's like sabermetrics in baseball, I guess, but it's a really good breakdown. I highly recommend that by all means.
I feel like I'd have to take another statistics class, go back to college to understand all of that sometimes. And last but certainly not least, Patrice Bergeron, a guy who is consistently ranked among the NHL's top talent, has managed to put himself right back in the Selke conversation once again. Bergie entered this week with a plus 38 rating, ranking 3rd in the league in face-off percentage at 59% and leading the league in face-off wins with 925 ahead of Sidney Crosby, who only has 917. Where the black and gold are concerned, Bergie's got 53 points, which ranks 3rd on the team. He's 2nd in goals with 25 behind Jarome Iginla, and he's tied for 4th with Carl Soderberg and Riley Smith with 28 assists. Bergeron sported a 5-game goal streak in March, which is a career best for him.
And then he had a couple goals this weekend to extend that streak, so he's extending even that right now. And because of that, I think it was Sunday's broadcast where Jeremy Roenick and Mike Milbury said he should be put in Hart Trophy consideration. I certainly think he's the Bruins MVP right now. That's that's already a given. But I don't know about Hart Trophy. There's so many candidates that deserve it, and I think Bergeron could be up there. I just don't see him right now when you have the Sidney Crosbys, the Claude Giroux of the world, the Ryan Getzlaffs as your top point scorers. I think that'll be kind of overlooked by the writers. But as far as Bergeron's concerned, he's going to win the Selke, I think. I think he's going, I wouldn't say a landslide, but he's going to get a lot of first-place votes. You have Jonathan Toews and Andrei Kopitar of the Kings who are right behind him, but Bergeron by far away. His face-off percentage, his plus-minus, his two-way play, as we all know, is already stellar, and he's probably going to get to 30 goals, I think. Him and Jarome Iginla will be the 2 30-goal scorers. And as we say, as I mentioned about Jarome Iginla on his hot streak and Fuego, if you want the French term for on fire, en feu.
All right, Enfo. I think we have a few more weeks of hockey left to be played before we worry about whether or not Patrice Bergeron will be in consideration for that Hart Trophy or not. We'll see how these last 3 weeks or so play out.
Yeah, I think he would rather play more hockey than worry about awards himself.
I think so. And I think this team is thirsty for a drink out of Lord Stanley's cup, Tim, and I think that some of our fans believe that too. So we've got your tweets and Facebook comments about the Bruins in March coming up after the break. We're back on Bruins Daily TV, and we've got all of your tweets and Facebook comments from this week. We had so many great answers, but unfortunately we had to whittle them down a little bit this week.
This has become my favorite segment on the show. I think this is yours too, where we hear from our viewers via Facebook or Twitter. And we've gotten great responses since we began this after the Olympic break, so keep them coming.
Keep them coming, and be sure to check back here each week and see if your answer makes it on air. So we wanted to know your 3 words to describe the Bruins in March, and here they are. On Twitter, Carol Brown said the Bees were dominating, rolling, and resilient, and Chanel called the black and gold persistent, consistent, and confident, while Tom Morton got right to the point and said the Bees were totally awesome. Tim, what do you think?
Are you sure Tom has a 3-word answer there, or did you do something during the show to
He
make
has a
it?
3-word answer, and the viewers can see it right below.
Okay, fair enough.
We got plenty of answers on Facebook as well. Ronald Bernard said that the Bruins were in pure beast mode, while Scott Bedard named the 3 guys he thinks led the Bees down this road. 3 guys we just talked about: Bergeron, Iginla, and Chara. Elizabeth Reff said they're big bad Bruins. Bonnie Lonson said here we come. And Stacey Rogers making a bold prediction: Stanley Cup champs, she said. While Maureen Dutton said they're on fire, and Matt Savoy agreed, saying, I only need 2 words, en fuego. And en fuego, Tim, that's your favorite phrase to use when you talk about this team.
En fuego and en fo. I think we talked about this at the end of the first segment. But en fuego, you know where I learned that? Cancun, when I was watching a Stanley Cup final, oddly enough, between the Devils and Ducks a number of years ago. And yes, you even heard Spanish announcers saying, "Goal!"
Good to know.
I know. You might have to take a trip to Cancun one of these days during the
Very
Stanley
possible.
Cup final.
And see if I can see the Spanish announcers call a goal.
Maybe we could take Bruins Daily TV on the road, but they could be in the Stanley Cup final by then. I don't know what's the best thing. Go to the Stanley Cup final or Cancun?
It's kind of a tough decision there.
Yes.
Well, that is going to do it for us this week. For our crew here at Studio 73 and Tim Rosenthal, I'm Erica Lee, and we'll catch you next time on Bruins Daily TV.
We belong